Thank you. I'm going to read an extract from a short story that's in my collection of short stories, Nibs, available at the knockdown price of £5 at the door. It's taken from a short story called Love Your Sexy Money, and it's based in Bangkok. Claire had been given the rundown about the pickup over a breakfast of Thai stick and a fruit smoothie. Nick the Knife, Gold had told her. Huge 90s DJ, owner of Sunfloor Records, legendary caner. His eyes had lit up at that point. Gold liked addictive personalities. They were good for business. He'd seemed surprised by a lack of response. DJ Nick the Knife? He'd said again. It was then that she'd reminded him that she was still at primary school until 2001. Shit, he said. I'm getting old. I'll Google him, she'd laughed. But she hadn't. And that conversation had soon become a forgotten swirl in the distant fog. 1 a.m. The cheeky Xanax, or was it 2, that had seemed a good idea back at her place, now seems like an exceedingly bad one. The world outside the taxi window is slurred. In front of Claire's eyes, headlights and taillights melt into a sticky colour goo. It's like a young kid's decided to paint the world very badly. The aircon-chilled window that's propping up her head is the only thing keeping her awake right now. Her most recent conversation with Gold, about 30 minutes ago, had gone something like this, only with more swearing. How's the airport? What airport? The airport you're supposed to be at, picking up my new client? But that's tomorrow. It's now, Claire. His flight lands in 10 minutes. Where the fuck are you? The Saturday night expressway is busy, but most of the traffic seems to be going the other way. She can hear chanting from the taxi driver's radio, or she thinks she can. Right now, even the hum of the car is sounding like a sweet lullaby, and she's desperately fighting the Xanax drag through the muddy puddle of consciousness. Her phone is ringing. She knows the tune, even sings along to it in her head, lets it ring twice, 3 times, 4 times, before she realises that the phone ringing is hers. It seems to take an age to unzip her bag. Fingers have all the dexterity of cucumbers. She dips her hand in, gropes around inside for the familiar shape. Doesn't feel right though. Everything feels soft and squishy and slightly moist. She pulls out her hand and, despite the blurred vision, recoils at the sight of her fingers covered in something. Oh no, blood, she thinks. But the consistency's wrong. Oh no, shit. She brings her fingers closer so she can smell them. Not shit, chocolate. Fuck, she says loud enough for the taxi driver to turn round. Her phone stops ringing. She opens her bag up wide to see the damage. It's bad. Chocolate icing is smeared all over the inside of the white fabric, and everything else is either sunk or coated in sticky congealed sponge and chocolate gloop. An eyeliner pencil juts out of the mess like a miniature village telegraph pole. The rest of the contents are buried. It takes both hands, 10 cucumber digits, probing and kneading through the cake mix. Somewhere in the back of her mind, there's a party. Which party, though? Every night's a party working for Gold. The Xanax veil makes the images disjointed and unreal, like they belong to someone else, as she trawls through the mirage of her shimmering thoughts. The free cocktail she started knocking out when she got out of the elevator. The French guy dragging her off to the toilet to shove his crappy coke up her nose. The grotesque display of chintz and plastic surgery in the room. The flash of cameras. The smiles wearing thin as she hijacked every photo. And finally, she remembers what a great idea it had been at the time to have the cake away, from right under the nose of the publisher throwing the party and into the clown's pocket of her spacious handbag. At last, her bag yields up the phone. She smears the worst of the chocolate off and then licks her hand clean. Just in time, because it's ringing again. Claire, why aren't you picking up? Sorry, You're fucking late is what you are. The Knife's already left the airport. You're joking, she mumbles. No, I am not joking, Claire. Thanks to your inability to do a simple fucking pickup, our new client, for whom sex is only one of his addictions. is now heading for the red light district without passing his hotel or depositing his cash. But I'm nearly at the airport, she protests emptily. And, he screams, turn the fuck around and get back down to Bar Shankar, Soya Soke. Quickly, you got that? He hangs up before she can answer. What a dick, she says under her breath, before telling the driver the new address. She tosses the phone in her bag and sits back in her seat. She leans her head back, brushes her hand through her hair, and thinks that it feels almost glossy to the touch. Inside Bar Shankar, the light is dim, although the circular bar that sits in its centre emanates a UV glow that shines up teeth and whites of eyes something scary. At small tables, working girls are wrapped around seedy Westerners with shiny foreheads and shit-eating grins. The more ugly the man, the bigger the grin. Claire wishes she'd done that Google search. She considers calling Gold, but judging by the foul mood he was in earlier, it's probably not a good idea. Oh, for a tannoy right now. Would Nick the Knife, DJ and notorious club monster, please make himself known? As she pushes past tables and chairs, she's aware of a sound behind her. She clocks the faces turning in her direction, the toppled chair with legs kicking up to the ceiling. But it's only when she's sitting on a bar stool that she realises maybe the fallen chair had something to do with her. The surly cow behind the bar pretends she can't understand her. Coffee, says Claire. The woman shrugs. Claire sighs. Vodka tonic. Her drink arrives and she plays with the straw as she flips her gaze around the room in an attempt to eliminate faces from her line of inquiry. It's tough though. The shadows are as heavy as her eyelids. 150, says the woman behind the bar. She's a career girl, this one. The years in the business have hardened the features of her once pretty face. Claire rolls her eyes at the high price. Her purse is in her bag, but she doesn't want to open that up in here. The woman's looking at her strangely enough as it is, without adding a portion of a squashed chocolate cake into the equation. She dips into her trouser pocket and feels a note, only it's not a note. And the moment the UV hits the white powder in the bag, her heart jumps. She lays a couple of hundreds on the bar top, then makes her way to the toilet. She can't believe it. The Frenchman's coat from the Bangkok Madam party. How did she manage that one? No matter, she had. And a livener was exactly what the doctor ordered for a bad case of Xanax fatigue. There's enough for a decent line and it's up her nose before the toilet's finished flushing. She doesn't exactly skip, but at least she's not stumbling as she makes her way back to the bar, past the hookers who eye her suspiciously. The coke makes her want to say something. She stops and turns, and as she does so, she catches sight of the suitcase beside the bar. It's probably the biggest suitcase she's ever seen. It stands at least 4 feet tall, but it's the sticker that catches her eye. Big yellow sunflower petals radiating around a vinyl record. Next to it sits a man, 2 giggling whores draped over him, wearing football shirts, one red, one blue. Are you Nick the Knife? Claire asks. The 2 girls look up, a moment of concern on their painted little faces. Yeah. Why, you want an autograph? He leers. I'm Claire, she replies icily. I'm here to take you to your hotel. Well, you're late, Claire, Nick says. He licks his lips and points at the streak in her blonde hair. It's sticky brown, crystallised with golden sponge cake crumbs. Chocolate cake? He asks. Claire doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. It's 3 a.m. and all she does know is she needs to deposit Gold's customer safely to his hotel so that she can surrender to the Xanax that wants to roll her up in a duvet and send her away into a deep, deep sleep. Chocolate cake, she repeats. She shakes her head slowly. I know a 24-hour ice cream parlour. Nick the Knife stares at her for a moment, trying to fathom out whether she's off her head or just stupid. He's still undecided as he peels his money belt away and hands it over. Keep an eye on this for me, love. Got some unfinished business to attend to. Rubbing his hands, he turns to the hookers. Chelsea? United? The girls giggle. Time for a bit of Premier League action. As they lead him through the beaded curtain, he turns to give Claire a wink. What a dick, Claire mutters for the second time that night. She looks down at the sweaty money belt in her hands. It's at least 2 inches thick with notes, and for the briefest moment she wonders, what if? Instead, she places it on a bar stool and plonks herself on top of it. Pulling out her phone, she pours out a text with cucumber fingers and starts her wait. Thank you very much.